the dreams of people's dreams contain apprehensions, you know. But it is very difficult to say whether they point to a war, because that idea is uppermost in people's mind. Formerly, you know, it has been much simpler. People didn't think of a war. And therefore, it was rather clear what the dreams meant. Nowadays, no more so. We are so full of apprehensions, fears, that one doesn't know exactly to what it points. But one thing is sure, a great change of our psychological attitude is imminent. That is certain.
Why?
Because we need more. We need more psychology. We need more understanding of human nature, because the only real danger that exists is man himself. He is the great danger, and we are pitifully unaware of it. We know nothing of man, far too little. His psyche should be studied, because we are the origin of all coming evil.
Greetings! Welcome to Tome 6 of Ancient Library, Synchronicities and Other Ways to Lose Your Mind. I just want to mention quick, the last tome I did about aliens and UFOs, part 3, was more with a biological touch. In this tome, it's going to be more on the psychological and philosophical area, I would say. So I'm going to tell you now what you're going to expect in this video. I'm going to talk about synchronicities, of course, about C.G.J, power of mind, extrasensory perception, physical and psychological endurance, consciousness, things like the placebo effect, hidden abilities, and even magic. I want to start with synchronicities and the Swiss psychiatrist, psychoanalyst, and the founder of analytical psychology, Carl Gustav Jung. He's influenced and befriended with Sigmund Freud. He got many books out, and he's a highly influential figure in the psychology realm of things. But for the sake of this video, we're going to focus on synchronicities and what the guy actually created in terms of synchronicities. The definition by Jung is synchronicity means the simultaneous occurrence of a psychic state with one or more external events, which appear as meaningful parallels to the momentary subjective state. So, okay, that explains it, but it's not really a good showcase of the thing. So, I got a onward definition here. It's a coincidental occurrence of events. They seem related, but they cannot be explained in a causal way. So, before I mention some examples to get you a good picture about the thing, I want to mention the thing quantum non-locality. About the quantum stuff, you can go on the internet and read stuff about this. I'm going to put something in the description. But for now, I think first I'm going to mention some examples to get you some better grip about the idea of synchronicities. Before I mention them, I want to mention one last thing. Carl Gustav Jung even got a relation to UFOs. He was he got a dream, a very real dream, he said, where he was encountering different UFOs, and after this he got like very deep thoughts and was saying, maybe if you subtract time, the UFOs and the aliens are meditating and projecting us and we're not projecting them. So he's going very philosophical, but he was very pro in terms of UFOs and aliens. He even got an article in the paper. I'll put it on screen later. Now, finally, I'm coming to the examples. I'm going to mention some general examples and some personal ones to get you a good picture. The first one, pretty basic, is the thing. Imagine you're listening to music, not just music. I mean music with lyrics, hip-hop or whatever, somebody's singing. And you're in your room or you're in the traffic and you read the exact same word what you're hearing in the same second, what's in the lyric. So that's one type of synchronicity. The other thing is like the time thing, 11:11. If you watch on the clock and it's 11:11, but I think there's a psychology aspect here. I think that's not. I mean, I don't know what Young is gonna say about the 11:11 thing, but we're gonna put this on the side here. Next example is I'm gonna mention the famous one, which from the man himself, Young. It's about the golden scarab story. He was a therapist. He got patients, and on one day he got a female patient, which told him she got a very real dream, where a person gives her a golden scarab, like a bug. And in the moment, right in the moment, on the window there was a bug, like basically knocking on the window. He opens the window and gives her the bug, and it's like he got a real crazy event, because in the moment she said this happens, and it's like, I think that's the first thing he mainly focused on, synchronicities. So that's like a very, very clear example here. I mean, you have to add the person was very rational, very cold, very not believing in any woo or supernatural stuff. So that's a very touching example, I think. I want to mention some personal examples. My second video I made was about Apophis, an asteroid, which can turn meteor maybe in the future. And I mentioned this in the video as well, but I did not think about in a synchronicity way. And I was outside at work. I was doing night shift. I was outside with another person. And I was talking about Apophis like 10 minutes, 12 minutes maybe. And right in the middle of the segment, we witnessed a comet. So I don't know. I mean, I was not talking about Apophis the whole day and stuff. In this moment, I was not thinking that was so special. I was very blown away by the comet itself. It was the first time I witnessed something like this. That's more than a shooting star. I mean, I was at first, I need to identify the thing, but I pretty fast concluded that it's a comet. But it's a synchronicity for me. Another one is, I was in the making of this video, I was researching about Carl Gustav Jung and was reading the Scarab story for the first time myself. And a few hours later, like basically one of my favorite YouTube channels, which putting videos out in a very slow rate, but they're very high quality, put a video out about aliens and stuff. And in the video, he was talking about Jung and the example. And I was consuming a lot of these channels in a lot of this area, and nobody was mentioned this so explicitly. And so for me personally, it was a synchronicity as well. So I hope you can get a little picture now. Back to the 11:11 thing. I think the psychological aspect of this, there's a thing called selective perception. So if you watch on the clock in an hour 5 times and you watch on the time 11:11 or 4:20 or 13:37, you just forget about the other numbers, but you got the memory of this, and then you're like thinking, oh, I only watched on the clock 1 time. So I mean, there can be synchronicities, of course. Sometimes maybe you watch 1 time a day on the clock and you do it 3 times and it's 11:11, so maybe something is there. But I was doing research on the number itself. But it's a very, in terms of synchronicities, it's a very, low thing, I would say. But Jung himself was saying numbers are very archetypical and the universe most likely speaks in numbers. And if the universe speaks in numbers, synchronicities are like a direct data transmission, maybe from creation itself. But I put a question mark on this. I want to put a little more examples, a few more. Maybe you think about a person and you're not long seen, like maybe a longer time, but it's a friend or something. And a few minutes later or an hour later or on the same day, you got a message or email or call from the person. And that's like very, I would say, famous synchronicity as well. Some people say you're more in line with your higher self. Some rational people say it's all coincidence, it's all bullshit. But yeah, think for yourself. I'm going to present this. I think it's a very interesting topic. Matter of fact, I got some synchronicities by myself. I got a few more, but I'm not going to mention them. Talking about myself here. I mean, there's some basic ones and there's some deeper ones. And if you, falling victim to a very deep synchronicity, it's like a very deep touching moment, and it breaks the laws of physics. It breaks the laws of physics. It's just like in the moment the universe was aware of you, and for a moment, it feels like. I'm going to source the main work from Jung in the description. It's called Synchronicities. It's a very nice book. And if you want to go and do a very deep dive, you can read all of his works. And yeah. There's more examples, but I think I reached a good bit, and I think it's pretty nice explained right here. There was something about a fish story from Jung where he was like, got a patient and he was drawing a picture and he draw like a humanoid fish being, and then lunch was fish, and then he saw a fish on the side of the way of the sidewalk, something like this. And even for me, if you go too deep in this, you see more synchronicities, of course, but I think too much is not good. You don't need too much of this, I think. Some nice directions, but some people, if they got some psychological weakness, they can get driven mad pretty easily, but I'm going to pick up in later part of this video. Okay, now I'm going to close the section from synchronicities and going to do a transition to psychic abilities or enhanced psychic abilities. I mean, this goes from simple intuition about strong empathy, remote viewing, telepathy, levitation, to the most wild things. The CIA got a study back in the day. They said 1 out of 100 persons got psychic abilities, enhanced psychic abilities, like I mentioned. And there are 72 psychic abilities listed, like a definition. Remote viewing is just one of them. You need to keep in mind. Because people hear remote viewing and throwing the thing around. And it's just one out of a very large number of things in this area, which is considered wild by some people. I'm going to continue with a special individual here, goes by the name of Uri Geller. And Uri Geller is a very special guy. Some facts about him, or I should say some infos. Some people say he might as well be a Mossad agent, but nothing bad about this. He was a paratrooper in the 7-Day War, and he was badly injured but recovered. And he is world famous for performing magic-like tricks. And yeah, I got a theory on this guy. I read something back in the day, and it's basically saying he got some abilities, but he's not able to bend the spoon by himself. The theory was saying he's performing this in the TV live or in front of many people. And back to the CIA thing, if you say 1 out of 100 people got psychic abilities, the theory is basically saying his ability is to scan for other abilities and use them, like channel them basically. And so it's a wild story. He's basically saying he's not bending the spoon because sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it works. And a lot of people was like pretty impressed by this. He's very active. Recently, he claims to know about the JFK stuff, and he back in the day was connected to the SRI, Stanford Research Center Institute, with Russell Tark Hal Puthoff in the remote view section. So there is something behind this guy. He got something on it. He was around with many world tours and stuff, and was performing on stages. And I think that was a very interesting theory. I mean, I don't know, but some people are very impressed by this guy. I'm going to pick up on this guy later. I'm going to proceed now, and I want a quick section here about the psyche itself and about these kind of topics. I think you need to be evolved as a human being in some aspects, and for some people it's earlier, for some people it's later. But I think if you're 30 to 40 in this age area, you're going to maybe encounter the thing of synchronicities or something. You're a little established in life. You're a little more grounded. You're playing the game of an adult for some games for a decade now or more. But it's that's a general thing, but maybe some people are exception. And then it's the thing of psychic health and like schizophrenia. I mean, if you're too deep into these kind of topic and you're interested, but you got psychic weakness and you got some diagnosis or something, take it slowly. I mean, keep an open mind. I would not tell nobody to not read into this topic if you're interested, because that's not working as well. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, even some normal people, they got no issues. They can get driven mad, especially with the 1111 and the perception thing. But maybe in the good aspect, synchronicities, to mention it one more time, maybe it's a synchronicity with your higher self. Maybe your higher self is telling you a direction. But if you take it too seriously and think there's a synchronicity around every corner, I don't think that's how it works. so you need to be calm. Okay, now I'm going to proceed. I want to mention a quick thing, and I want to tease a next tome I'm going to do in the future. It's about all of these psychic abilities, from precognition, meditation stuff, out-of-body experience, lucid dreams, telepathy, levitation. I'm going to do a 30, 40, 50-minute video. I'm going to give the topic the time it deserves. But this is now about synchronicities and other ways to lose your mind, because I need to mention this stuff. It's an important and more growing topic. And normally I do stuff related to UFOs, but the more I deep dive in some topics and some aspects of the field, I'm going to encounter stuff like this. And in the last tome, I was talking about life forms and potentially advanced life forms, and telepathy is a real thing then. I mean, we got areas in the brain, we got so much brain wave activity, and the remote viewing thing is actually getting very famous right now. I can't believe it, actually. And I mean, it's not expensive. Everybody can try it. Everybody can prove it for yourself. And 1 out of 100 people, if they're able to do it, it's a lot of people on the planet, a lot of people. Okay, now I'm going to move to a special section. It's called Deep Dark Projects. And it's based on a whistleblower testimony pretty recently, pretty hot stuff. And I don't know how to even start this. It's about performing control of exotic technology while in a induced state with serotonin upper-like drugs. And it's basically the thing in the underground, in the deep dark world, CIA and even deeper underground base stuff. And I don't even know how I'm going to explain this well. Pardon. The story is, there's maybe stuff from crash retrievals or from alien tech, and it's only controllable. They figured out over many years that it's only controllable if you got a higher state of consciousness, a higher stimulated state. I don't know why it's from drugs, but he's saying there are people getting more likely abused for their psychic abilities to exploit or use certain exotic tech they found for whatever source. I mean, maybe it's from aliens, from crash retrievals. I got some speculation soon for you on this. But that's the main story, and people are dying, their health is low, and they're getting basically, drained. And it's a whole underground world, and if the people talk, they're getting killed immediately. But now take this with a bag of salt. It's only a testimony from a whistleblower. I mean, maybe it's real, maybe it's not. Now I'll give you some speculation of my side. I mean, if this is true, we need action. They are harnessing stuff in an illegal way. Or if this is actually true, that's so wild. There's no discussion. I mean, it matches with testing kids for psychic abilities, like Project Stargate from the CIA back in the day. It's like the same thing. I mean, it's not really far-fetched if you believe in this stuff. But now I'm come to the speculation on my side. I got 4 points here. The first point is maybe it's from crash retrievals or UFO shootdowns with exotic weapons I mentioned in the last tomes, and some wild stuff. And they actually, after years, figured out the UFO only flies if you are in a certain state and if you got certain abilities and if you are enhanced, maybe advanced enough to use it. And the normal human being is maybe far away from this, even in a normal state. The second part is maybe it's not for exotic tech, but only for psychic ability use. Maybe they got some weird drugs, they induce them in underground bases, and they need to do a remote views or other things. Maybe it's that. Pardon. The third one, maybe it's the famous alleged trade-off in the 1950s with some aliens where we gave them genetic material and other rights to do experiments with humans, and they gave us some tech, and the tech is only usable if you are in a certain state. And the fourth thing, the last thing, is maybe it's just counterintelligence. Maybe it's just a shit story because the guy's a whistleblower and he got a solid story in the first place. And maybe they just want to destroy his credibility and, make the guy go crazy, basically. And now he's talking the story, and maybe now, later, it's in the future, it's coming out that it's all bullshit and his credibility was destroyed. So that's a very wild segment here. Okay, now I want to move to the last section basically of the video, mind over matter, and the relation to a field called magic. And I'm gonna pick up on Uri Geller right now because he was performing these spoon bending tricks and other stuff like under the curtain of magic in I would say, mainstream populace. And he got this trick, but there's another individual I came across in my life, and I think many people know this guy, and he's called David Blaine. David Blaine is a magician who is alive and was performing insane demonstrations of psychological and physiological endurance. I mean, the man can hold his breath for 18 minutes. He was like, I don't know, chilling for how many hours in ice, and he got basically shot in his mouth in just a tiny piece of metal, and so much things which are not only considered magic or card tricks or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think if you watch some of his material and you see him as a person, he seems to be a very sensitive, intelligent, empathetic guy, and he got a heart for the magic thing, and he's a very special individual, and yeah, he's like active for, I don't know, 20, 30 years, 25 years, and it's a big variation of things he was doing. I mean, if you can hold your breath for 18 minutes, and I think 4 or 5 minutes is the level of a Navy SEAL, and he just stretched this out like in a maximum way. I mean, when it's the point, it's magic and it's surreal, and when it's the point, it's just a good, acceptable, good performance. I mean, card tricks. I was not very impressed by the whole magic and circus things or whatever, but this guy is on another level. Like, he was performing tricks. I don't know. Back in the day, there was a video. He was old Nokia phones with a basic camera, and he was taking the picture of a guy, and then he was basically slapping the face onto a dollar note and stuff. And I have no idea how he was doing this. I mean, and I don't know. I would not consider myself as a like guy who's not doing research and not got a scientific mind or something for this, and I got no clue how he was doing this basically, and that's just one out of his repertoire. He got like thousands of tricks, and he never seems to be fragile in his thing. It's always excellent execution in this type of tricks. I mean, is it just psychological ability? Maybe is he 1 out of 100 and he was doing the magic path and he's fully aware of his abilities? Or is it just, I don't know, supernatural stuff? Yeah? I mean, I leave this open. I will not do any final conclusions here on something. I just want to stimulate some thoughts on people. And yeah, I got a nice outro clip for you to visualize some of these things. He was just doing one example out of many things. And now I'm going to move to the epilogue, to the very last section. And in this video, we covered from synchronicities and solid psychology to basically real magic, everything in between. And it's just 20-30 minute long video. And I mean, if you're interested in one of these things, you can just look in the description. I source a thing from every area. And like I said, I mainly focus on the UFO, UAP focus topic. But yeah, I was pretty interested in synchronicities the last few weeks. And I was reading a lot of Jung's material. And then I read in the middle of the book, he's like a UFO sighting, and he's a very intelligent guy. Like, I don't know, he's a very interesting guy. And I don't know, even when I saw his picture for the first time, he seems so familiar. I don't know, maybe I saw it as a kid in a room or something, but yeah, I don't know. I can recommend to do some more research if you're interested in these things. And even solid psychology, not just like synchronicities and other like quantum stuff. Okay, I want to mention a few more things now. The next video is going to be no tome or no no regular video. It's going to be a next new format I'm going to experiment with. And I said it a few videos before. It's going to be a deep dive on a very certain topic. It's going to be around the UFO and alien topic. But yeah, I'm trying to finish this year. So maybe earlier, I don't know. I don't want to make some claims when I finish, but yeah, I'm gonna do this with passion and put a lot of work in, and I got some free time ready. So yeah, stay tuned for this one. One last thing I want to mention: in the 1980s in the US, there was a poll where people getting asked, do you believe in more than the physical, like in the supernatural? And 89% said yes, 2% said no, and the other one said like basically nothing, neutral. And they done this in 2022, and it's just basically nothing changed. So on the populace, the opinion is clear in this point. So, and if you put the CIA thing 1 out of 100, I mentioned this a few times here. I'm trying to search for the study so I can source this, but I think a little bit research and you can find it by yourself. It's no myth at this point. And yeah, so I think the program is now concluded here. And much love, and stay tuned for more. Bye.
Close your eyes. Good. Her eyes are closed. She can hear my voice, but she can't see anything that I'm doing. Open your eyes for the first time. Tell us exactly what you felt. Tell us exactly what you felt. Say it.
I just got full of emotion.
Uh-huh. And did you feel a touch?
I did.
Where did you feel the touch?
On my shoulder.
Which shoulder? Which shoulder?
All right.
Tell her what happened.
While your eyes were closed, he touched my right shoulder. When you said it just now, you moved your right shoulder. He just put his finger here and pushed down on my right shoulder.
And your body moved accordingly. And you weren't watching, your eyes were closed.
Yes.
And you really felt something for real. It wasn't just a...
You didn't touch me?
They were...
No.
Somebody touched my shoulder. David?
He touched my shoulder while your eyes were closed.
Yeah,
No.
Mom, nobody touched you.
Okay, now I'm about to cry.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Somebody touched my shoulder.
No.